Hey, welcome back to the Dinar Update channel, where we keep you informed on all the latest developments affecting Iraq's economy, the international financial landscape, and much more. If you're interested in global finance, international relations, or the key stories impacting economies around the world, then this video is definitely for you. Today we have a lot to cover, including some serious news that could shake Iraq's economy to its core. We're talking about the looming threat of US sanctions on Iraq's banking system, the dire consequences it could have on the Iraqi dinar, and how it might push Iraq into financial isolation. Plus, we'll dive into the latest news about Iran's continued gas exports to Iraq, despite the pressure from the US sanctions. Let's start with some heavy news that's been making waves, and it's not just financial news. Professor Nawar al-Saadi, an expert in international economics, has shared some pretty alarming insights about the potential consequences of sanctions being imposed on Iraq's banking system. According to al-Saadi, these sanctions could have a major impact, triggering widespread disruption throughout Iraq's economy. Now, why is this such a big deal? Well, let me break it down for you. Iraq, as we know, relies heavily on the American financial system for a number of its international dealings, including currency transfers and holding reserves in the U.S. Federal Reserve. If sanctions are placed on Iraq's banks, particularly on Rafidain Bank, which is one of the country's largest, it could disrupt these financial transactions entirely. Iraq would struggle to access the U.S. dollar, which is crucial for its day-to-day operations in the global market. Without access to the dollar, Iraq's economy would face a severe shortage of liquidity. Now, why does that matter? The answer lies in the black market. As demand for dollars skyrockets due to this shortage, Iraqis will likely turn to the black market for their currency needs. This would drive the value of the dollar up even more, exacerbating the problem. The US dollar could become even more expensive, and the Iraqi dinar could lose even more value, causing a surge in inflation. Think about it. The cost of goods and services in Iraq could go through the roof for ordinary Iraqis. This means even higher prices for imported goods, basic necessities, and salaries that can't keep up with inflation. This would lead to widespread economic distress, and people might struggle to afford everyday essentials. But that's not all. This could send Iraq into financial isolation, as it becomes cut off from international financial systems and transactions. So, to summarize, if these sanctions hit Iraq's banking system, it could trigger a domino effect. The value of the dinar could plummet, inflation could spiral out of control, and the people of Iraq would bear the brunt of this. But let's be clear. It's not just the currency that's at risk here. This could have far-reaching implications for Iraq's economic standing in the international community. Now, while Iraq is facing some serious economic pressure, there's another story developing in the region that could have a positive effect on Iraq's energy sector, and in turn its overall economy. Despite the mounting US sanctions, Iran has confirmed that it will continue to export gas to Iraq. Yes, despite the US sanctions that target both Iran and Iraq, Iran is continuing its gas exports to Iraq. This announcement comes directly from the National Iranian Gas Company, which has confirmed that gas shipments will keep flowing into Iraq, helping power the country's energy needs. Now, why is this significant? Iraq is heavily dependent on Iranian gas to fuel its power plants and generate electricity. This has been a long-standing issue for Iraq, as it has faced chronic power shortages due to its inability to generate enough electricity domestically. If Iran were to stop supplying gas, it would be a huge blow to Iraq's energy sector. So, for now, Iraq can breathe a little easier knowing that gas exports will continue, at least for the foreseeable future. But let's not forget, Iran is also feeling the pressure of US sanctions. So, how long can Iran continue to supply Iraq with gas, while dealing with its own economic difficulties? That's the million-dollar question. And while it's reassuring that gas exports haven't stopped, we could see some shifts in the future depending on how the US and international community respond to these ongoing sanctions. So, with these two major stories playing out simultaneously, we're left wondering, what does the future hold for Iraq's economy? On one hand, there's the looming threat of sanctions that could destabilize the financial system, sending the country into isolation and triggering a full-blown currency crisis. On the other hand, Iran's continued gas exports provide some much-needed stability to Iraq's energy sector. The balance between these two forces will ultimately determine Iraq's future economic path. As Iraq faces this turbulent period, it will need to find ways to navigate its relationships with both the US and Iran while keeping its economy afloat. If sanctions are imposed, Iraq may have to consider new ways to engage with the international financial system, and perhaps look to alternatives like regional partnerships and developing its domestic financial infrastructure. So, what's your take on all of this? Do you think sanctions will devastate Iraq's economy? Or will Iran's support help cushion the blow? How do you see these developments playing out over the next few months? Drop your thoughts and questions in the comments below, and let's get the conversation started. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future updates on this developing situation. If you found this video informative, give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might want to stay updated on Iraq's economy and global financial news. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.